You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Down Cast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 279 of Guardian Down Cast, a Destiny podcast. Hey, I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, I'm talking with my co-host, Kingsleymac. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm great. Glad to be here once again.
We just came back from a live game show that our friend of the show, ElmmerFuddGames, had on his Twitch channel, and we were contestants of the game, and we'll just say I did not win, and Kingsley was the first loser.
I did a little better than you, but I didn't win either.
Fudd does such a great job with those games, and I've always been jealous because he's had other people on his shows to do his game shows, and I was so happy he asked us to be on his show tonight, which is just some gamers, JSG Podcast. I'll have the links to his Twitch channel if you want to watch the replay, or also his podcast link I'll have in our show notes down below as well. And like I said, we had just such a great time tonight. And in this episode, we're going to first catch up on our week. This week, Bungie released Act 2 of the Revenant episode, and Kingsley and I played it, and we'll give our initial impressions of it. I will then go over the highlights of this week in Destiny, the TWAB. RNG's not here to correct me on that. Bungie's weekly blog post. And of course, if you have any feedback for us, anything you want to talk about that we discussed today, you can go to our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Down Cast. And we have a show feedback channel where you can put in all your input that you'd like. So that is where you can go for that. If we have any questions from our community, we'll answer any of those at the end of the show. And Uncle Scumdeath, our uncle from across the pond in the UK, will be stopping by to share his week with us in a Scumdeath corner. So it's a chill show tonight. So let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels ToddtheGatr and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian.
Well, let's catch up a little bit here, Kingsley, since it's just the two of us tonight. Let's start with you, man. What did you do in gaming and in life? I mean, entertainment, whatever you want to talk about, man. What have you been doing this past week?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with my other game. I'm still finishing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I was wondering the other day how many hours I put in it so far on the second playthrough, and I've put in 65 hours.
Now,
yeah.
A question. Why are you playing through it a second time?
Because it's that good of a game.
Really?
I think it's one of the best. If you look at everyone's rankings, it's definitely in the top 5 of all Assassin's Creed games.
Okay.
There was a few things that they did to it that a few people didn't like. There is stealth and there is the assassin blade, but it's not used quite the same way as some of the other games. However, where this game really shines is, to me, at least with Assassin's Creed games, and I feel like even most open world games when this came out, I think it was 2017. But anyways, it is a huge open world, and it was their first foray in more of the RPG element. They had the full armor slots like what you see in Destiny, like headpiece, arms, boots, everything, and tons of all the things. Like this was the first time happening in Assassin's Creed where it was full RPG with like you had the blues and the exotics and everything and lots of different weapons, and the amount of quests puts Destiny to shame. I hate to say it, but like, and this was just a one game. Like, even if we count all of Destiny's DLCs together,
really,
I still think there's more quests in this game, more campaigns and stuff. And so, I love my Destiny, and I'm never probably going to not like it unless something crazy happens. But I really I come from originally a single player game like the Uncharted's and the Assassin's Creed. So when they've been good games over the years, and this was one of the top notch ones, I feel like it was time to play it over again, and I'm not regretting it. I'm having lots of fun.
No, I'm happy I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know if there was like a, I know with Starfield, they have like a new game plus or like where they increase the difficulty.
They do, but to me, that's not as interesting. I mean, I don't mind difficult things from time to time. I'll do that in Destiny also, but my main thing is just experiencing everything. And enough time had passed where, yeah, some things came back to mind, but basically running around the whole world, running the quests again seemed new to me because enough time had passed.
Okay.
And so it was fun just building up a character again and trying to make different choices. Like, I don't remember the exact choices I made before, but I know probably what my temperament was then. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to go with more bombastic, dramatic choices like, I'm not going to work with you. I'm going to kill you instead. Like when they present different options.
Right.
And just trying to see how the game would play out differently. So
that's pretty cool. Okay. No,
I like that.
That explains why I played multiple accounts in Destiny, because I love replaying the stories and stuff again, even though you can't do that in Destiny 2 now. So yeah. I get it though.
Yeah. And then Destiny, we can talk about that maybe more in a second.
Yeah, sure.
However you want to go through it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after we catch up. Yeah.
And then we talked some, but I definitely want to give a little bit more of a mini review. I saw Heretic basically a week after you.
Yes.
And I love the movie. I knew I would. I knew a lot about it already, and I kind of come from that lifestyle. And I was thinking about this some too. I do want to preface that even though I am definitely more on the non-religious side, I don't have any strife towards anyone who's religious. I get it. I used to be that way, and I'm not anymore. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because some people have heard the movie is definitely a downer on religion. And while I feel like it brings up the hard questions, there's a lot of cool things at the end of the movie that, as a believer, you can decide how you think it went down. And I don't want to spoil things, so I won't. I think you should see the movie, even if you're a religious believer. If you're not a religious believer, I think they did a really good job with this movie. Like you were kind of, giving the basic premise last week, and I'm so glad I saw it. It's going to be one of these movies I want to see again as soon as I can, and I'll definitely own it on the streaming services and everything like that, because it has so much interest in my life too, because it's about female Mormon missionaries, and I served a mission when I was younger in Chicago for 2 years, and I think the things they went through in the movie were 90% correct. Mm-hmm. Which is better than probably most movies would get. Yeah, there was a few things that were off on things those missionaries would never have done based on what we were told to do and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. It was such a small percent.
Yeah.
They got the movie real. They even had like current stuff. They were talking about this prophet called Gordon B. Hinckley, which is really only like 15 years ago or something. I forget the exact time frame.
Wow. And
that is unheard of for a movie to talk about like that current of stuff. So, there was a quote in the movie saying, if one part is not true about this religion that claims everything's true, then none of it's true, and I remember that quote actually from the prophet at the time of the church, that many years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, really good movie. I don't know. We talked about it. You already gave your review. I don't need to give a full review, but there's just so many things in the movie that I really liked, and glad to see it.
Finally. Yeah, we discussed how it ended, and I think we got into a pretty good discussion about that. And I don't want to share too much of that here because it'll ruin the movie. But yeah, I mean, the way that the movie ends, you're right. Whether you're faithful, you have a faith in religion or not. the movie kind of was for everybody at the end. It just depends how you look and see that. And we both expressed, we're talking about it, how we ended up seeing how we thought the movie ended, because there was some part at the end of the movie where did we actually see that or didn't we see that, and it leaves it open to interpretation, which I love movies that do that, by the way. I hate movies that cut things, black and white sometimes. I don't know if I like it when it leaves it open like that. But yeah, we had it's a good movie when you're interested enough in the movie that you start talking about how it develops and stuff. And like I said, I'll mention it again. The board game analysis in the middle of his house before they descend into whatever, and I finally got the Holly song out of my head. I'm probably going to start thinking about it now, but I will definitely, when it comes out in streaming, I will definitely watch it again, because just us talking about it made me want to, we'll go back and start looking at those points that you mentioned to me that I might have missed. So Heretic is one of my top 10 movies in 2024. Spoiler alert. When we do the year end thing where I talk about all my top 10s, but yeah, I was very, very pleased with this movie, and, I agree, man. Very good movie to see. And you have more insight because of your faith in the past. You have more insight than I did. I don't know anything about the Mormons and the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints. I don't know hardly anything about any of that. And you had a lot of insight because of that. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely going to be one for my lifetime to remember. One other quick thing, it is kind of classified as like a thriller, or some people would say light horror. I hate to classify as horror because some people may not want to see it that aren't into that category. Now, even my wife, who's very sensitive with those things, she was fine with it. She didn't say it was too crazy, but there was even a few times she was like, that was a little scary. And I hope people won't not see this movie because I don't like scary movies, but just know it's not like a crazy horror movie. So if you can at least stomach some minor stuff, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned that I don't like, jump scare movies are okay. They don't really scare me. Actually, I think they're funny sometimes, but horror movies or movies that mess with your head, like Paranormal Activity, that really mess with me. But this is nothing like that. It's very straightforward, and I really loved it. I dug all the dark parts of the movie and stuff. The set design just blew me away. So yeah, man, good movie. Yeah. Definitely good movie. And hopefully our listeners will go watch it too, wherever it comes out.
Yep.
What else you did this week? Other than Destiny?
That's about it for me. I'm trying to think. Movie. Notable things for the week. Movie. We did the podcast like you mentioned at the beginning of the show with
just some Guardians.
ElmmerFudd. Yep. Just some and
gamers. Sorry, just some gamers. They changed it since they're not Destiny based anymore.
Yep. And then, my Assassin's Creed playthrough, and I'm getting closer-ish to the end. I am looking for it. My next game on the horizon is actually, and I think it's December 5th, Indiana Jones. They have a full exploration Indiana Jones coming out on Xbox, but also on PC, and you can get it on Xbox PC Games Pass. So I'm going to be doing that.
Yeah, see, I can get excited. I don't like movie games, but, I don't like games that are based on movies like that. I never have. Probably... I'm thinking back. In fact, it's hard for me to think of a movie themed game that I think I played a few of them back in the day. They were really big back in PS2, PS3 days, but no.
Well, a few Star Wars games have been really good.
Yeah, I would say that would probably be like.
I have hope for this.
Well, okay. Well, I'll wait to hear your
reviews and trailers, and so far it doesn't look horrible. Now, I really don't care too much either way, because especially since I'm going to be getting it on Games Pass. Which I don't have right now, but I'll re-up it. And PC Games Pass isn't very expensive at all. It's like 10, 15, something like that a month. But yeah, looking forward to that.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Well, I did, talking about my last week of gaming, I did finish up my Festival of the Lost last week. I did complete my challenge card. I got my Super Black Shader. And I was just talking to Kingsley last night about this. I was worried that how black usually on cloth armor or like robes, like what warlocks wear, usually comes off as like a dark gray. But I must say, it is definitely super black. It looked very good, and it was worth the chase for me. I'm all about shaders and that Destiny drip and having your own personal style and how you look at when you put your Guardian together. So yeah, I got that done. because I was playing Festival of Lost last week, Black Ops 6 Zombies got put on the shelf, but I'll be jumping back into that probably the week before Iron Banner rolls around, which is the latter part of this week. And around, up to reset on Tuesday, which is the show will be out on Monday. So tomorrow, but, I'm actually, excited to play some Iron Banner since we never saw it in Act 1 Revenant. And I'm looking forward to getting the new armor set for all 3 of my characters. I looked at the preview in the last TWABs, and they've shown them, and they look really good. I think they're going to be worth going after. I love that theme. I love the wolf theme with Iron Banner, and I have all the armor for my characters in that. So I will definitely be playing a lot of Iron Banner when it rolls around next week. It'll probably consume most of my time, to be honest, that I have. But I want to try to get a few rounds of some Black Ops 6 Zombies in maybe this weekend before that rolls around. I did play some Bellatra last week. I completed the red deck, to unlock another, card deck. My goal is to complete a regular deck, complete a regular run on each deck, because that unlocks the other decks, and start building some high scores after that. But I'm still learning of all the little intricacies of the Joker system, and seeing what gets consistently high scores when playing, hands. So, I've got a lot to learn on that. I mean, Admiral Nips, I know, has shown me some mountainous scores that I'll probably never reach, but that game is just so fun to play. And it doesn't require a lot of your time either. So, which is even better. Since I got the new PS5 Pro this last week, I downloaded some new games to try. I was kind of inspired by the Game Awards nominees this past week, so I downloaded the full Fantasy VII Remake, as it was free on my PlayStation Plus. I'm also trying some different games and downloaded the demo for Unicorn Overlord, Stellar Blade, and Metaphor ReFantasio. That looked really good from what I saw in the sample. And it's anime. It's Japanese style games, so I'm not really used to playing a lot of those, but I'm trying to expand my horizons this year. So I'm going to definitely jump and play the demos on those. I did also finally pull the cord and bought Astrobot, as the gameplay just looks so fun and refreshing. It could be something it could be something to play, late night before you jump into bed or something. And it just looks just like a chill game and the visuals just look stunning on it. And it has the new enhanced mode for my PS5 Pro. So I'll report back and let you guys know if it really made a difference. Next week, like I said, I'll be playing Iron Banner to get those new iron sets. But I'm going to try to do Astrobot one night next week for a couple hours at least. So I'll report back once I know more on that. On entertainment wise, I saw the new HBO series Dune Prophecy this week, and the first episode's about an hour and a half long. And I got to tell you, if you like Dune and all the lore and all the past stuff about Dune, it is really a good show. The first episode was fantastic. It didn't run too slow, and it kind of promises to tie into the original Dune movies, because they do say things that tie into the end of the last Dune too. So, it's well before, I think it said it was 10,000 years before, the Dune that we know. But so far it feels like a Dune movie. I mean, the sets are fantastic. The environments, the character development is already getting there. It is probably my most anticipated series this season that I'm wanting to watch. Did you watch that, Kingsley? Are you a Dune?
Yeah, yes. And I haven't watched this. I've watched the Dune movies. I like them a lot. Mm-hmm. Wife and I actually got a cool screener, advanced and VIP seat for Dune 2 through our local bank.
Right.
We just won a contest and got that. And so that was nice. And then went back. I know my dad liked the original Dune movie. I remember seeing parts of it, but not understanding it when I was a kid. Wife and I went back and watched the original one. I mean, it's just an old movie at this point. I know it's a cult classic.
I saw it at the theater when I was a kid. My dad went and brought me, and I remember Sting just was the most badass character in that whole movie.
Back then, but I don't know. I was trying to be fair about it, but I just didn't think it was that good.
It wasn't a very serious. It wasn't as a serious movie back then. It was more tongue in cheek Dune, but
it just kind of seemed like it.
Yeah, but it
really
was
looking,
the 80s.
But really looking forward to the TV series. I just hadn't made a priority yet. I think actually I'm trying to wait to see. I think the wife is interested in this one also.
Yep.
So I'll probably try to lock her down tomorrow or Saturday, or if not, then I'll just start watching it on my own. But I am excited for it.
It's funny you should say that. My wife says, "Oh, you saw the first episode of the Dune Prophecy?" I'm like, "How did you know about that?" She goes, "I want to see that." So I mean, she went with all the Dune movies that I love as well. So yeah, she wants me to slow my roll, and I'm actually going to watch the first episode all over again with her, because there's a lot of stuff to watch. There's a lot of stuff you don't catch the first time around, little subtleties and Easter eggs. So I'm gonna watch the first episode again with her, and we'll see if she sticks around. I also saw. Go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, I was just saying. Okay. I agree. Yep.
I also saw the first episode of season 2 of Silo on Apple TV. Rebecca Ferguson, which played in Dune, is outstanding as usual. But I'm curious where the story's going to go, because it was a little vague when they were catching me up from the first season, and it basically picks up where that season left off. But at least they have me curious. So I'll like I said again, I'll report back on this one once I know more. But the first episode was okay. It kind of crawled a little bit, but I'm going to give it a chance. But I really love the first season. So we'll have to see how that turns out. My wife and I completed season 2 of the Netflix drama series, The Diplomat. Spoiler, it is really good. It ramps up like crazy in the last episode of season 2 also. All I can tell you is this is one that was so good that it was like a priority one. We watched it before anything else, and we got behind on other shows. But we just finished the last episode of season 2, and I think it was only 6 episodes. It was a lot shorter. But man, I'm telling you, if you like movies like The Crown, like really high production movies and really big character plots and stuff, you got to see The Diplomat. I really think you'll like it, Kingsley. So
yeah, I do think I would.
Yeah,
I probably have it on what I call my medium list.
I got you.
Medium list so it's not my short list, but medium list.
Yeah,
do most people ever really get around to that?
It's like it's like a Japanese inspection. Yeah. I get it, man.
Yeah.
We're going to see tomorrow night. In fact, we're going to go see the new Clint Eastwood movie at Disney Springs, and it's called Juror Number 2. Got really good, certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes. It's a limited release because it only shows at Disney Springs locally for me at the AMC out there. So I'm looking forward to that. Going to see, of course, Gladiator 2 and Wicked in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to be the big draws over the holiday week here coming up. But I'm only going to see them in the Dolby Atmos screen. I'm not going to see, since I can, I don't have to pay extra for any of that stuff because of my AMC Stubs A-list membership. I don't pay extra for that stuff, and I get preferred seating. So definitely going to be seeing those. Red 1 is out right now with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Chris Evans, and J.K. Simmons. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to make sure I see it before it falls off the theater, the theater list. I think it'll be out there a little longer. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I want to see that. I think it should.
It looks funny. It's a funny movie. Chris Evans will probably have some funny lines with the Brock, and I mean, come on, man. It just looks good. It looks like maybe a new holiday classic is born there, but I'll tell you for sure once I see it at the theaters.
What was that Christmas movie that was bombastic a few years ago with a lot of action and death in it?
Bad Santa?
Yeah, Bad Santa.
That was
No.
Yeah. Did it have Billy Bob Thornton in it?
No, that's the Bad Santa one, but I'm thinking of a different one. And I loved that, and I watched Violent Night.
Violent Night. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, you have to.
Well, hold on. I'm writing it on my list right now.
Oh my gosh.
Violent Night. Okay. I'll put
Violent Night. It came out 2022.
Okay.
And
you know where it's showing?
It has John Leguizamo.
Really?
Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Leguizamo?
Well. Yeah. But Josh Miller.
Wow. Does it tell you where it's streaming right now?
Yeah, let me check. Oh, by the way, I think I mentioned this before, but I always like using Just Watch, justwatch.com, or they have an app. Ooh. To me, they're the easiest place to figure out where stuff is at.
Justwatch.com.
Or they have an app on your phone if you want.
.com. Okay, I wrote that down too.
So Violent Night. Let me see. Got to spell this correctly.
I'm going to put that. Streaming network.
Violent Night. All right. It is currently on not much. I feel like it was on a streaming service right now, but right now you can only rent it unless you have Stars. It's on Stars.
Yeah, I don't have Stars.
Yeah,
that's the one I don't have.
but,
okay, I'll put Stars. Oh, actually, I'll put
maybe keep an eye on it. But I'm
Rent.
telling you, it has like a 90% rating. So 74 for critics, but like 89 for users.
Look at you being a movie reviewer. I love it, man.
Well, yeah, I don't
love it.
It's a small part of the equation for me, but
Good.
yeah,
I can't wait to have arguments over feature movies now.
Right. No, yeah, I'm all down for that. But I think I will, because it was on a streaming service. I forget which one.
Okay.
But now I want to watch this again. The season's coming up. I might just buy it because to me it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's about 15 right now.
You could probably buy it on YouTube, and then it goes in your collection.
Well,
it's always
I
there.
would do Apple, but
oh, that's right too. Yeah. I forgot,
but it's 15 everywhere. It looks like for buy price, and then 4 for rent.
Okay.
Or who knows? Wait a little bit longer, and it may come back to streaming.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Kingsley. Well, first I need to get into this week in Destiny.
Hello, this is Admiral Nips from Potato Thumbs Podcast. You're listening to Guardian Downcast. And while your state sucks, you're still probably a pretty decent person.
All right, this week in Destiny for November 21st, 2024. This is the last TWAB before the holidays. For most of us in the United States, we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving this Thursday, and Bungie and their staff will be taking off as well. So it won't be a TWAB this week coming up, not until the first part of December. So, really short TWAB this week. Couple important things I did want to make sure you guys knew about, though. Iron Banner begins on November 26th. Hear me, Iron Wolves, old and new. Prepare for my amazing imitation of Valus Forge, previously known as Lord Saladin, as I spread the news of the next Iron Banner. Before the Vanguard, the Iron Lords were the authority, and their old ways were the law. Let's once more pay tribute to the fallen, no, not those fallen, and prepare for the battles to come by testing one another in the Iron Banner. Control will be the game mode for this first week, and your battle efforts will be graced with weapons so strong they could shatter the skies. The first ever rocket-assisted sidearm that uses the darkness power of stasis is waiting for the worthy. Word around is that loose change and chill clip is the role to chase, but air trigger slaps too. There are also new Iron Banner intent armor sets worthy of Waylorian, Nerwin, and Orwig themselves. Guardians looking for a glow-up should look for nothing else. Come see me at the tower if you want to focus engrams to get them. So Guardians, are you brave enough to fight for honor, for humanity, and for some sick drip? Make me proud. How did I do? Nailed it, right? Right? Saladin, please put down the axe. Act 2 is here. The Tomb of Elders is the kind of the beginner level of the Prison of Elders remake. Speaking of rewards, Act 2 will see the return of a classic. The Grid Skipper Void Rapid Fire Pulse Rifle returns, reprised and featuring great perks for both PvE and PvP. We've also got the new ARC Submachine Gun Noxious Vetiver, which I did get one, and the Void Shotgun Scavenger's Fate for you to add to your arsenal. I got 2 of those, I believe. We've also got new tonics and new fieldwork missions in Act 2. This includes new enriching tonics to help you loot chase and new volatile tonics to help you boost the new artifact perks. We have Tonic of Tomb Gear. In Act 2, you start the new Tonic of Tomb Gear, which provides a chance to earn weapons and armor that drop from Tomb of Elders. As with all tonics, you can brew this tonic to unlock rare and legendary recipes that will offer more potent effects and allow you to more specifically target the weapons you're looking for. And then the Tonic of Brawling. There are also a new volatile tonic recipes available. The Tonic of Brawling offers a buff that reduces combatant damage at point-blank range. The uncommon version of the tonic will also boost the new Act 2 artifact perk, Thick of It, while the rare version will boost Curative Orbs. The legendary version boosts both perks simultaneously. And then finally, the Tonic of Enhancement Cores. You know I need my enhancement cores. A new resource, Tonic focused on enhancement cores, has been added. It can be unlocked through completing the new Key Fieldwork quest. If you need a refresher on all things Tonic, there's a link you can check for their mini breakdown from the October 17th TWAB. They also wanted to let you know that Black Friday, they're going to have a Bungie store sale. You can't have darkness without the light, and that's doubly true for deals coming your way soon. Bright deals are coming with the Bungie store Black Friday sale starting at 10 a.m. Pacific on November 26th. That's reset. And we have a lot of exciting deals in store for Guardians. I'll be checking into that. You can follow the Bungie store on Instagram and X for their information coming soon. Getting your Destiny 2 fashion feedback. Killing gods is nice, but some say the true endgame of Destiny is fashion. In our continuing quest to support your Guardian's finest strip, we wanted to pull back the curtains a bit on our planning and get more regular feedback on what kind of fashion you'd like to see in the future. So, they're going to have weekly surveys. To start, we'll be adding weekly questions related to potential armor themes in our weekly surveys from Bungie Research. These results will help get us a feel for how each theme fares against each other. If you want to be in our research pool, you can sign up for our emails in your account settings. I am already signed up for that. While not guaranteed, signing up will offer a chance to be selected for the survey each week. And not only weekly surveys, but they also want to get your regular feedback. Being part of the surveys isn't the only way to make your voice heard. We also want to start giving regular updates here in the TWAB and gathering feedback. We'll be starting with small but regular updates that we hope will offer some insight into our planning process. Your feedback will be a huge help in how we prioritize our future content. For the sake of transparency, we also want to mention that developing new armor and accessories takes a lot of time. Even themes we are excited to create can take a while to make in-game. Additionally, these themes can show up in a variety of places such as the ritual activity, rewards, the season pass, or the Eververse. Finding the right spot and release can also influence the timing for when specific new look is released. With that in mind, let's take a look at what we have to share this week. Below are the themes we'll be including in this week's survey. The description gives you a feel for how the theme might play out on the design of the armor. We have the Wolf Bounty Hunter, which is a stealthy dark armor with wolf fur trims, tactical gear for tracking and capturing targets, symbols of cunning and solitary strength. They also have the Viking Norse theme, fur linings and animal hides, iron helmets, often without horns, which makes it historically accurate, intricate knotwork and runes. The Scorpion Assassin, sleek armor with segmented articulated plates, hidden blades, and poison reservoirs, symbols of stealth and lethal precision. Then they have the Cyber Samurai, samurai armor fused with neon cyberpunk elements. That excites me. Speedster Recon, agile, sleek armor with advanced mobility tech. Ethereal Monk, flowing minimalistic armor with a serene spiritual feel. Alchemist Savant, armor featuring vials, potions, and arcane devices. Mantis Battle Monk, armored robes with mantis blade designs, agile, flexible joints for rapid, precise strikes, symbols of meditation, precision, and deadly grace. Bat Nightblade, enhanced hearing devices for detecting movement, symbols of stealth and nocturnal agility. And then finally, Fox Trickster, light armor with sly, cunning aesthetics, gadgets and tools for deception and escape, symbols of guile and quick thinking. Let us know your thoughts with the hashtag D2FashionFeedback. We'd love to hear what you have to say on these ideas or anything else you're passionate about in the world of Destiny. Player support report? You know, shit's broken. But that's everything we have for this week. Next week we'll be taking a break from the TWAB as we stuff ourselves with turkey and mashed potatoes, but we'll return following a week with a preview of this year's Dawning event. While Festival of Lost may be over and we've put away our Arcade 6 mask, he's showing up in other places. If you didn't catch his appearance in Astrobot, take a look. Ooh, I'm about to play that tonight. Thank you very much, Destiny 2 community team. We always thank you for touching base with us and giving us some information about what's going on in the world of Destiny 2. I tell you what, I will definitely be putting a lot of attention toward the Iron Banner for the next couple of weeks. I hope I'll see you there. And we'll get that new armor, right? Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. Well, this week, Bungie released the Act 2 of the Revenant episode, and Kingsley and I have both played it all the way through. We've got all the story done for this first, actually, it's already done. And we played a lot of the activities as well. And yeah, I just want to quickly go over our first initial impressions of this, Kingsley, and I have another question for you afterwards, but I'll wait. So what do you think? Maybe explain first what you got done, and then we'll just get into it, I guess.
Yeah. For just real quick at the top of my mind, I would say I like it enough. It is a pretty good act. You know, remember these episodes, we have 3 per year now, and instead of the 4 seasons, and then like 3 smaller, acts within each episode. And when they first brought Onslaught back, and yes, it is a new version of Onslaught, and it's not too bad. I wasn't super excited because it wasn't, to me, a new enough type of activity. Well, with this one, we have the Tomb of Elders. And then the sub one, which I keep forgetting the name. Is it Court of Elders? For the
I thought it was Contest of Elders.
Contest of Elders.
Is that right?
Yep.
I'm guessing.
It's one of the 2. I should probably load up the game. We're
supposed to be experts, right? Oh, geez.
I know, right?
They've caught on to us, Kingsley.
It's still new. We'll figure this out. But anyways, now technically this is an activity we've talked about that's been in the game before somewhat. In Destiny 1, it was just called Prison of Elders, and then they had the other version was Challenge of Elders, which I really liked.
Right.
And but enough time has passed, and they've changed it up quite a bit, actually, from just little small things to how you get to the ending room, and like the rewards room, the ending chest room, and even just the encounters throughout. New types of enemies and things look a little different. That, to me, it feels like a new activity. I don't know. Does it feel like a new activity to you?
It does. It does. In fact, I played a ton of Prison of Elders in Destiny 1. I guess that's how we're supposed to talk about Destiny, not Destiny 1. But I played a lot of it, and it got really repetitive. And the one thing I will tell you is what really I was really impressed with playing. I played the Tomb of Elders. It's part of the storyline solo the first time, and it wasn't too difficult. You just got to hide and shoot. It's like playing a Nightfall or anything else. But what I noticed that really impressed me is the actual arenas were multi-tiered. They actually had height to them. And not only that, but they looked totally different than the Prison of Elders that I was used to playing. And as far as the scene or the backdrop or the arena design of the game, outstanding. It was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I've been having fun with it, and I kind of messaged you last night because I've already done a few full runs of the more advanced version, and the contest. And you're right, it's called Contest of Elders. I don't know why I was keep wanting to think Court of Elders.
It's okay. They're recycling the name anyway. Might as well run with it.
Yeah. But anyways, there is the Tomb of Elders. Think of that as like the shorter version, maybe 10 minutes, and then
I think it's 1940 power. I mean, anybody can do it basically.
Yeah, and they're both match made too. And then the slightly harder one, which I highly recommend everyone go through. That's the point I'm trying to make here. It's called Contest of Elders. Now, it is a little confusing if you kind of don't pick up on what's happening. And I was even talking about this with McMaximo last night and stuff too in another chat. But if you don't know, you kind of go through the first phase, and it's always like a small room and then maybe a traversal area and then a larger room and some kind of boss, right?
Right.
And then it brings you to like a mini, what I call rewards room. And depending on how good you do, there's either one chest or up to 3 chests if you get the Servitor's Warden favor. That's depending on how good you do with extra little challenges that have timers. Now, the main activity does not have any timers, only a full amount of revive tokens. So if you go through all of them, and they vary, you can earn more, you can use a bunch, be okay. But as long as you don't go through all of them, you're okay. No timers. But the timer is the extra objective, the bonus objective to get more favor so that you get more rewards in these sub-rooms. Well, you think, okay, I've gone through all of that. We're done, right? Well, no. It's not totally obvious, but you can put down a flag and continue forward. And then, of course, the servitor, which I love his sayings. They're funny.
Yeah.
There are all these things like, "You're my favorite," or "Why does my accent sound like country?" I'm trying.
That's all right. I get it. It's like,
I'm trying to do.
You are my favorite.
Yeah, I know. And then, or you are doing good. Now, extra challenges, So basically, all these funny little things, and depending on how good you do, if you do better, supposedly you get to skip little traversal areas and get a few more rewards in the sub chest rooms. But either way, you will eventually complete it all and get to the main chest room. And just be patient. It seems like it's about 5 times that you got to go through it. It's worth it. Keep going through it. You'll know you're at the final boss when it's the machinist. Is that how you say it? It's not the machinist,
I think so.
Right?
No, it's machinist. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I remember
recognize that guy from Forsaken.
Yep, a lot of Forsaken, a lot of references to Forsaken, which I loved. It was brought back a lot of memories for me. And my favorite saying, I think it was the last level before we went and took care of the final boss. It goes, the servitor, I guess, which is the boss, I guess, of the prison. Still, he goes, I'll see if I do my best impression here. He goes, punishment or reward?
That was good.
And he leaves it. I'm like, what is it going to be? Tell me, please, before we go in here. But yeah, I thought that was a really good touch. Yeah.
They have like old bosses. I won't spoil the Taken one, but
it was
old
really
bosses that come back. They have Cabal ones that aren't exactly the same as the Shield Brothers, but kind of gives me a vibe of that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the thing I loved is the mechanics in the game weren't really too complicated, easy to follow. But I have to say, myself, you and Sin, we ran through my first Contest of Elders last night, which is 2030, by the way, power level. But I think it matches. Remember, the new matchmaking matches the highest level person in your fire team, and then just takes 5 off for you if you're lower. So. It didn't feel like I didn't feel too weak. I was 2017, I think, going in. I didn't feel too weak. I was killing enemies pretty well, but it was so you just had to be sticking and moving the whole time. There was really no sitting in a corner, and because a lot of the modifiers dissuade you from just sitting in a corner behind cover and just pot shotting enemies, and I like that in a way. But I tell you what, for the 3 of us that played that night, the enemies were dense. It was challenging for 3 people. Even it was challenging. We got down to what, 8 tokens, 5 tokens, maybe.
I think we got down to 5 at one point.
Yeah,
5
it
or
was.
6,
yeah, you run out of tokens, the game's over. Whatever you've earned to that point, that's what you get. So, but we got, I think, almost all 12 chests. We got, I think, 11 chests total.
I think so, yeah.
We got 2 on one of the boards. And it's probably because of me, because I told you guys, I said, you guys do whatever time stuff you got to do. I'm just going to keep killing ads and just trying to keep them off you guys. The biggest pain in the ass for me was the dang flying enemies. They were just everywhere. And we're not talking Fallen. We're talking about the new race from Final Shape. What do you call those flying guys? I never can remember.
The bats, right?
I just call them the bats, yeah. And they were just relentless. And if there's one thing I would tell you is try to eliminate those guys first, because they never let up if you don't eliminate them first. It's like a 3-dimensional game, and even a lot of I was using a wave grenade launcher, the exotic one. Can't remember the name of it, but anyway, that way I can switch the energy types on it. It's the one you got from Witch Queen. But anyway, I was using that to try to clear ads quick, but you can't do it when they're in the air. It's useless. So I was using a scout rifle on them, and it took forever to knock them out. So yeah, that was the one pet peeve of mine, was the flying bats were just insane. And, but it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time running that. And like I said, the dark, spooky environments and gullies and stuff you run down into is just really, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was definitely I thought it was different. It didn't look anything like Prison of Elders for me. I mean, remember in the Prison of Elders, you had the half clamshell that would open up, and your enemy would be there every time.
No, they had that outside part, and so
yeah,
I guess they didn't want to bring that outside part because that's in the strike. But they could have still brought that. Is traditionally Prison of Elders even before the strike.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring that. I was a little sad, but in a way, don't worry, the activity is still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think, like I was telling you this also, it feels more action-packed. Onslaught has been feeling like a little bit easier, even on the harder mode, and a little bit like waiting and stuff. And this like activity never really felt like there was any waiting.
No, it was bam, bam, bam. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And I think we took total we did a full run of the Contest of Elders. I think it took us right at 45 minutes to get like 11 chests. It's a lot of rewards, man. A lot of materials for your tonics that we need especially for the new tonics, and plenty of weapons. So I did get a grid skipper, the new rapid fire frame pulse rifle from Season of the Splicer. I got a Desperate Measures demolition, maybe a good PvE roll, but I'm always looking for one for Crucible, so I'll keep trying to get that one. I also got a decent Chroma Rush, the auto rifle from Season of the Splicer. It's a 720 auto with, and I had To the Pain and Tap the Trigger, which I will try in Iron Banner next week. That looks like a lot of fun. But I had a question for you, Kingsley. I know we had a lot of fun in the activity and stuff, and we'll talk about the story here in a minute. Where would you put the seasonal weapons for you? Are you impressed by them? Or are you just like, meh? Or, I mean, what is your take on the seasonal weapons so far?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I haven't done as much research this time around. I used to kind of rely on, I know Tassie wasn't the only one, but he more reliably in the past would rank all the seasonal weapons and give god rolls. And because that hasn't been happening as much, and because of even me having a little less interest in the seasonal stuff, I haven't really looked into all of them, except before I got the god roll chill inhibitor, which is at the gunsmith, by the way, I was using the other seasonal grenade launcher called Bittersweet, and I like that one a lot.
Okay.
It's a good PvE weapon for clearing stuff, and I was even using it for DPS, like in the dungeon and other places. If you have the right mods and everything like that, it's a good DPS weapon too. So Bittersweet, and honestly, I haven't really tried. I feel bad, but I haven't really tried too many of the other seasonal weapons enough to really have any opinions.
Well, while we're on that subject, I guess it's fair we should mention that because of the weight gate, that if you go to the Gunsmith this week, there are all kinds of God rolled weapons in there. And I kept about 3 of them, I think, of the 6 they left, or 5. But you got to tell them about the grenade launcher they left us there. Everyone needs to pick that one up.
Yeah.
What was that one
this
called
is
again?
The one that everyone wanted, called VS Chill Inhibitor. It's from the dungeon. And so I believe, you got to have the dungeon key, even if you're, trying to pick up this God roll,
right,
to have access to the weapon. But it is with Envious, Arsenal, and Bait and Switch.
Yeah, you got to pick that one up. That is a must if you're trying to get DPS in any kind of raid and the way the seasonal artifact is weighted so much toward grenade launchers this episode. I can't keep track. Yeah, it's worthy of getting it, and they just feel really good right now. They've really given them a lot of buffs, and especially with the seasonal artifacts. I mean, they really hit hard right now. So
they do, and I can tell why people are liking this one. I typically prefer a arc grenade launcher, and the seasonal one was, and this is a stasis.
Mm-hmm.
But even though stasis isn't my favorite, this I can tell hits hard, because especially these 2 perks together both work the same way. The way Bait and Switch works is you want to do quick damage with both other weapons, your primary and your secondary, and then switch to your heavy, and then you do extra damage with the Bait and Switch perk, and that's the same thing with Envious Arsenal, where damage with your other weapons will refill from reserves.
Right.
Anyways, the mag is huge, and it hits fast. It's boom, 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 like that fast.
Yep.
And so I was enjoying it. I was watching things just melt last night when I was using it.
Yeah, you guys were definitely carrying my ass, because time I got to, I mean, I did get the new Adept Hothead, which is arc as well. And it had the clown cartridge and tracking module on this one. And you can, of course, if you have the Adept mods, you put the Adept mods on it as well. I tell you what, it was nice having 2 rockets at one time when I was doing DPS on the bosses last night in the Contest of Elders. So I think it hit pretty hard. I don't know if rockets are in the best place right now, but it felt good. So definitely need to keep that hothead too. That Adept hothead is really nice. So you have to get that from I think a Grandmaster Nightfall, right? That the only place you can get that?
Yeah, it was something like that, and I did have a good roll of it. But it's definitely worth picking up this one. So yeah, Hothead, VS Chill Inhibitor, some of the other ones. Mm-hmm. The Indebted Kindness is an okay roll. Get it if you don't have anything better, but it's not the best roll. And then the other 2, just whatever.
Yeah, and I did get a decent roll with the 120 hand cannon called Exuviae, which that's an insect term, by the way. But like I said, I'm not a fan of hand cannons. It is a 120, so it's a hard hitting, slower firing, high impact hand cannon. But the adaptive pulse rifle is called the Vantage Point. It's okay, but it's not really that great. Doesn't have the best rolls. I'm not impressed. I have so much competition when it comes to pulse rifles, because that's my main weapon of choice. The 260 precision frame sidearm called Insurmountable, it's just okay. I have a lot of competition there when it comes to sidearms. In fact, I'm currently farming the 360 lightweight frame that you can get and actually focus Crucible Ingrams on from Shaxx, and it's called the Anonymous Autumn. I love this sidearm, and I remember during Forsaken I kind of threw it away, but it's actually a great sidearm to have back, and it's arc as well. So there's a lot of stuff you can use for PvE and PvP on that one. But seasonal weapon wise, man, I'm not really excited about many of these weapons. So that's why I was asking you if there was anything that stood out. But I mean, I've got the adaptive sniper rifle, Sovereignty, the Liturgy is the special grenade launcher. I haven't really tried those enough. I've got a couple decent rolls. And I just got the new precision frame last night, the 600 RPM submachine gun called Noxious Vetiver. And I haven't tried that one yet either.
Yeah.
I got a decent roll. I got a few of them from last night because they just shower you with loot. But I haven't tested them out yet. I'm probably going to test them out in Iron Banner next week. I'm hoping the player basis shows up because Crucible's a little thin right now. A lot of people have been tweeting how it's taken them a long time to find matches. But when you're a super killer like some of these guys, you're going to wait a while because you're in the elite class of players. So, of course, you're going to wait a while. For me, it hasn't been crazy, but you can definitely tell the numbers are down. Yeah, I mean, overall, I love the new activity, and that's saying a lot because I hate seasonal activities. They get bored I get bored with them so quickly because they all look the same. They all have the same kind of mechanics, but the Tomb of Elders and the Contest of Elders, I really had fun playing. So,
yeah. Speaking of numbers, now these are just Steam charts, but I would say this probably went up one of the smallest bumps ever, unfortunately, from before. So before it was averaging, the average high was about, again, just Steam, but that's all we can really base numbers off of. But 36,000 was the average high. Mm-hmm. Well, when this new act came out, it just went up to 50,000.
Yeah, it's a lot less bump than usual. Yeah, usually it shoots to 100 usually pretty quick when any new seasonal stuff comes out. So that brings me to another point. This is a question I wanted to ask you tonight. And it's not too deep, but we got a little bit of time here. I figured it'd be a good episode to talk about it. We've played Final Shape. Now we're into the afterlife of Final Shape and we played Echoes. We played all 3 acts of Echoes, and now we're heading into the second act of the second episode for the year, and we still have one left, which, jury's still out because it hasn't arrived yet. Where would you give Bungie right now? If you were to give a report card right now of I think Final Shape we can all assume is fantastic, but the episodic DLC that followed the Final Shape, what would you give it on a report card right now overall? Now that we played this far into it, we're about halfway there, right?
And I know it would be nice if you're kind of asking the whole year minus the DLC, and of course we haven't done the third one yet. But just so far, I mean,
well, okay, I'll call this the midterm report.
Yeah, midterm report. Yeah,
midterms.
It's so funny because it's making me think. I love my nuanced answers, but here's the thing: like, in a way, it's about exactly what I expected, and I'm a little more bored than previous years. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you look at the amount of stuff that we're getting, it's not too shabby. We're still getting basically a exotic mission and or a dungeon, every single episode.
Right.
It's just that's about it, because the story part is super short either way. Mm-hmm. And at least I still think this is the correct move, because if you're giving us less stuff, well, at least they're not cutting out those exotic missions or cutting out the dungeons. That would be really bad if they did that, because then we wouldn't hardly have anything at all.
Right.
So, in a way, I'm pretty impressed on what they're delivering. But still, the pacing, it's still less overall stuff because we're only having 3 versus the 4. And even though the 3 are split into 3, it's not really super meaningful. And I would, if I had to answer the question 1 to 10,
or
funny enough, I'd
say A to E, A to F, like a report card.
A to F?
This is midterm reports. We're sending out to the parents.
I was not as good with A to F scores, but okay. I would give it
You can use minuses and pluses if you want.
True, that helps. Right now, it may still be as high as like a B minus.
Okay, that's optimistic. Okay.
It asked me again. I mean, I wanted to say in the C plus, but
right.
It's so funny because on the amount that I'm playing on the boredom side, it's higher than ever, but the activities are fun when they come out other than Onslaught. Everything's been pretty fun so far. It's just that even though it's fun, I don't have desire to play it over and over. That's the problem.
Well, here's my take on it. I mean, Final Shape was outstanding. For me, the best DLC expansion, whatever you want to call it, ever for me, for Destiny, any Destiny, pick a Destiny, the best DLC expansion ever for me. But the problem is how do you follow that, And I know Bungie in the back of their mind had to say, well, everybody buckle up because we're not going to be able to follow that up very well. So I have to give them a little bit of credit that they still had a game plan and they still are continuing to feed some story and, they're talking about the three echoes that come from when we destroy. Okay. I'm going to admit we killed the witness. As we killed the witness, these three echoes erupted, which it put a ripple into the world. Right. So I guess I'm kind of buying that story a little bit. And I don't want to spoil this, but there was a cutscene toward the end of the story for Act 2 that I have to say is probably one of the best cutscenes I've seen since Final Shape. Very, very, very beautiful, pretty good length. I was very impressed. The cutscene, they definitely put some time into that cutscene because it was beautiful. And it actually even had a throwback to some other parts of Forsaken, which I'm not going to spoil. And then someone appears that we don't count on, that I'll be honest, I was not excited. I know you were, but I was not excited. It returned. I'm not going to give any hints, but definitely need to play the story. I would say in my opinion, I think it was a mistake for Bungie to bend to the hardcore players out there that wanted to just knock it all out in an hour and a half. I think I like the fact that they space out the story a little bit because, one, it's much easier to absorb the story when you're doing it in smaller pieces, especially for my brain. And it also ties in where, they would have, and I didn't always like that they said, oh, go play an activity. I hated that part. But with something like the Tomb of Elders, I think they could pull that off. Not so much with the Echoes, whatever the Echoes activity was. I don't remember the name of it because it was that boring for me. But I think going forward, and this may be a moot point now, but I really hope that in the last episode, which is, do you remember what it's called? The last episode?
Oh, Revenant, maybe?
No, we're in Revenant. We're in Revenant.
Heresy.
Thank you, Heresy. So when we get to Heresy, I really hope that they don't let you play the entire story in an hour and a half because it just has less impact for me.
Okay, I have a different point of view, and okay. I respect that. But first of all, we have to be a little bit fair. Pretty much everyone's getting it done in under an hour, unless you're just twiddling your thumbs and looking at bounties and stuff.
I take my time.
But technically, everyone said it's under an hour if we're just being fair about it. Sure, you can spend 3 hours if you just want to go really slow.
Sure.
And the problem, I like this because I actually think I can remember the story better than going week to week. Now, here's the thing we have to be fair about. Okay, let's say we put it over. Just because they put it over multiple weeks doesn't mean there's going to be more to do. Whatever they created is whatever they created. So if they split this over multiple weeks, it would be like a 5 to 10 minute thing each week.
Yeah, I can see your point.
Is that any better?
They'd have to put some more into it, I guess,
filler,
if they're going to do it that way. I guess filler. I hate to say that word. I hate to say filler.
Yes, and no one likes that, but also even filler takes them time to program.
That's true.
So to me, I don't think this is actually everyone complaining. I think they were secretly going to probably consider this decision either way.
Okay.
That's what I really think, and it was just easy. They're like, yeah, we'll just put everything together because then it's less for us to create no matter what. They don't even have to create the filler. They don't even have to split it up.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't care if they brought it back to week again. I mean, I like doing it all together, but that was never the biggest thing for me either way. I still just think it's too little of content.
It's definitely, the story is definitely much quicker when you play it all at once. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right that if they did try to stretch this out, it is definitely less content.
I remember in my mind how much there was for Act 1 even.
Yeah.
And
I thought there was more.
Sorry, Episode 1.
I'm sorry. I followed you. I'm Echoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was more.
There was.
Again, if you were to take all the weeks and put it together in 1 week, there was more of that than we're getting now. That's my point. Right. So since we have less overall now, it's like, I don't know if it's the bigger issue. We shouldn't be complaining as a community of one way or the other because that's missing the bigger point, in my opinion. The bigger point is I hope they make more content in the future. Either way,
I tell you where it's hurt me though, where it's really affected me by releasing the story all at once, is I'm not even invested in the tinctures and potions because I've already breezed through the story. I liked how they, especially with Echoes, how we were getting samples and bringing them back to the I forgot the name of the place. The
Apothecary or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the ship was. It flew around. The helm. The helm. Yes. Sorry to get a drink.
Yeah, the last episode one.
Too much game show playing tonight. Yeah, I enjoyed having to collect those plant pieces or the frog even, and setting it up in the helm, and then hearing a lot of a lot of extra dialogue and stuff in there. But I feel like it feels so light going into Revenant. The first act was just a blur, but it didn't keep me involved with the ongoing games mechanics like the tinctures and the potions. I really have very little. I played very little of that, and it may be the fact that it doesn't give you a really laid out way of getting all those discovered.
Oh, that is annoying. We all agree with that.
I had to turn to a YouTuber to figure out how to unlock tinctures, unlock the potions. That needed to be much more straightforward, and the repetitive nature of having to go and put it in the thing and then take a sip of it and then it spits out your one tincture or whatever. That gets very tiring. So maybe have it where you can hit skip or something on that. I don't know, but
I don't think so.
Like I said, I'm really not invested in as I was with the apothecary part. I'm not as invested this episode because I play this story and I'm moving on. I go play Crucible every week, or I go get that bygones from Gambit. Now I will say, talking about grades here on the Revenant episode, they have brought back some really treasured weapons from the past. And I know you can say, recycled content, but these are really totally different guns because they have different origin perks. They have a lot more mods that they've added, a lot more roles for that weapon, especially with the with the bygones. There's a lot of different roles for that. So I don't know. I'd say it kind of levels out for me. I would kind of give it a flat C right now. Okay.
And one last thing probably that added into my equation as far as maybe why I'm giving it a B- or so is we were talking about this also, that regardless of how short these stories are, I liked the Act 2 story, and I think you did too, way better than the Act 1 story.
Definitely did. Definitely the story, as far as how riveting the story was, definitely better in Act 2. Yeah, definitely. You're talking about the second episode versus the first episode?
No, the second act for this.
Yes, the first act was a blur. Yeah, this second story was very riveting.
I mean, it had the cool cutscene. It had the story mission was more interesting than the other story mission.
Yep.
The person that comes back, you're like, okay, at least it's a thing. It's a big deal thing.
Right.
All in all, I think it's way more interesting, the actual story mission for the second act of this episode.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think we're being fair on those scores. Yeah, the story was definitely better this second act than the first. I agree. Yeah, definitely more. And I think every act should have a big cutscene. I think that should be a standard.
Every act, so that's 3 per 3, so 9 per the whole year.
Yeah,
I guess that might be a little tough for them, but I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I know. It's development time. I get it. Yeah. So we'll see. And I don't even want to talk about Frontiers right now because we're so far out from Frontiers right now. I do have a lot to say about it, but I've been kind of just holding off on my opinions on Frontiers because I want to hear more. I want to see if Bungie leaks some more stuff with those awesome developer insights that they're putting out. I'm loving what I've heard so far, but I'm curious, probably first of the year, I imagine, because they're going to be taking their holiday break here soon. And then, there won't be TWABs for a while. So, I'm just collecting info, kind of reserving my opinion on Frontiers right now. I know I had a lot of speculation as far as what I thought they were going to do, but I'm going to just keep that to myself right now because I don't think it's really relevant.
You know what I'm most interested in right now? And I almost feel like we could place bets or whatever, but for me, funny enough, what I'm most interested in is will this be one of the first times in a long time where it won't be a pushback again. And I think they might actually hit their date this time without doing a pushback. So, for example, as we come up to episode 3 with Heresy and coming up to Frontiers, right now it's still slated for the June timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
If they are going to push back, we're probably going to have to figure that out by January, February, March at the latest.
Yep.
So
that'd be nice.
They always give you a few months' notice if things get pushed back. So, but I just feel like because this has been a lighter year and because Frontiers,
right,
I think will probably be lighter too, but maybe better in a way. I think they might hit their goal this year, and that'd be pretty impressive. So to me, that's the interesting point.
Well, they definitely have a more strict boss now, keeping an eye on things. Yeah. So maybe that has something to do with it too. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I tell you what, let's grab a couple questions here before we go, Kingsley. We got a few from the Discord here. Let's go ahead and get in some questions, and then we'll go from there. Let me grab them real quick here. If you ever want to give us questions, by the way, for the show, it's in our Discord, discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Join the Discord, and you can go to podcast questions. We have Destiny-only questions and anything you want to ask us questions, kind of off-topic stuff. And the first Destiny question we had was from Bazash. He says, first, a big shout-out going out to Retro Smurf and Smokey Joe from the UK GDC2 for getting me 2 clears of the new dungeon. Excellent. I love seeing people in our clans getting stuff done. Question for the show. Are we all now intrigued by the Destiny Rising reveal? I watched Aztecross opinion video too and feeling pretty stoked for this. I wasn't expecting much, but it is a free first-person shooter reskin Destiny on your phone. Already looking at ways to port it to your PC. Already looking for ways to port it to your PC. Yeah, emulators. That's what everyone's using. What do you think, Kingsley? Are you intrigued by this? I know we've talked a little bit about Destiny Rising.
You talk a little bit about it, so definitely listen to some of our previous thoughts. I don't have too much more opinion since then. I for whatever reason, I didn't get accepted into the private alpha, and I do know when I was filling out the form, I was confused on a couple things, and I was just doing it real quick. Right. I don't even care. I'll get it soon enough, beta or when it actually comes out.
Sure.
I know what to expect with this type of game. I'm probably going to check it out a little bit, but even though it's kind of like, in a way, some new content and stories and like a new game, I know I'm not going to enjoy the time gating, paying for quicker unlocks, things that are going to start coming real soon when the game's released. Right. Or in lieu of that, having to grind super hard to get around that stuff. I'm not any more excited, if anything, less excited, but I think it is a better hit than I maybe would have first expected, if anything, for just people that only play mobile games or the China market.
Yeah. Yeah, I did play it on my phone. I did use the virtual controller that the phone comes with, and no, that is not me. I'm so set in my ways with controllers. I had to use a Bluetooth PS4 controller on it just because I had one laying around. The other ones were already paired with other stuff.
Everyone should.
Yeah. I will, if I end up playing it, I will definitely probably use BlueStacks and have some kind of emulator where I can play it on PC because, let's face it, man, I'm old. I have to wear readers to look at even my monitors clearly. That's the only way I can see the difference between 1080 and 4K. So don't laugh at me. But it's what little bit I did play, it was very interesting. And yeah, it is a skinned over version, but there's a lot of things that they put in Destiny Rising that is not in Destiny, in any of the Destiny game. And I would be curious to see how people play that. And what I'm really hoping, though, is that it brings a lot of mobile players to at least try Destiny, the game, whether it's Destiny 1 or what we're playing right now in Destiny 2. Just curious to see.
Well, yeah.
And I know Destiny 1 just went on sale for $19.99.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That is a lot of content. Yeah, it's a lot of content for $19.99. But keep in mind, it's only 30 frames per second. It was made for the older consoles, and it never came to PC. I still would love to see them. Yes,
it's worth it, I think. Yeah.
That's 4 years of content. 3 years, 3 years of content. That's a lot of content. So yeah, definitely worth it if you've ever wanted to try or at least know where the origin of Destiny, the game, came from. $20. I mean, come on. So
it answers a lot of questions too. Like for people that have just started in Destiny 2 and they're like, oh yeah, we're used to Oryx. We play the Taken King, the King's Fall raid and stuff. Like, no, you're not really until you play the campaign of Taken King in Destiny 1, where you're actually seeing Oryx in the main realm before you go to his throne world and on the ship and the whole campaign that leads up to and how he actually creates the Taken that we take for granted in Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. People are just like, okay, they've always been around, but why? Yeah. Well, you learn in Destiny 1, you see the first creation of him making Taken and why he did that and then how they were able to replicate from there on. And just so many great campaigns and stories that really you're like, oh, that makes so much more sense now, like why things are happening the way they are. And I've always told people, if you get it on PlayStation, I'll gladly play the campaign through with you. I like going back and doing that from time to time.
That would bring back a lot of feels, that's for sure. Yeah, I played the hell out of Destiny 1. I mean, I played a lot. I played a ton of hours of Destiny 1 for the 3 years it was out. And I mean, that's all I played as a video game back then. 2014 to 2016, that's all I played. It had my full attention. I didn't try any. There was a whole lapse, like 3 or 4 years. I didn't play any other games. So yeah, that's why on the show tonight, the sayings from past games, I was really hoping I didn't land on that because I'm so deficient in a lot of that stuff because I just haven't had the experiences, and I'm making up for it now, playing new games now. And that's got to be the one thing I do like about these episodes is the FOMO is not as crazy as it used to be. And granted, there's stuff like in the episodic pass, this pass bar that you can only get when you complete, the levels. So there is a little FOMO there, and they put stuff in the of course, Eververse. But other than that, I mean, it definitely has given me more confidence and more interest to play other games now. So got to give it to Bungie that it's not as crazy as it used to be as far as you have to play Destiny or you're going to get behind. So, and keep in mind, you can play all 3 of these episodes in any order once they're all out. So yeah, they're all separate stories from each other, which I always enjoyed that. Yeah.
Like always, all the stuff that comes after the DLC, the quote seasonal content, even though they're called episodes now, will last through the whole year. Mm-hmm. And then they will most likely go away, we're assuming, because they have the previous several years. Yeah. They haven't officially said, I don't think, but I don't see why they wouldn't again this year. And so it's more so, especially if, so this is interesting too. Like, this would be another reason why you wouldn't want to save. We were having this discussion last night. You wouldn't want to save your best episode for last because people have the least amount of time to play that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Before it goes away. But
exactly, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bazash. A couple just tongue-in-cheek questions here, and then we'll call it a night. Original Jimmy Rayner. What is the best curry, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, or any other? I guess what's our favorite ethnic food, I think is what he's trying to get to there.
Yeah, I like how you put these. I won't even consider Mexican really ethnic anymore because it's so ubiquitous and it's an easy answer. But if I had to have that in the category, Mexican takes a slight favorite. But I like Indian from this list. Indian is like one of my favorite. Those are all good. I'm a food lover of almost everything.
Right.
But I love me some Indian curry.
Yeah, for me, I'm torn between Japanese and Vietnamese. I love Vietnamese spring rolls. We have a very authentic Vietnamese cafe downtown Orlando that we get to go to every now and then, and they make the best spring rolls and summer rolls. So, but I mean, Japanese hibachi is probably my favorite food. It depends where you go. I know there's Kobe Japanese Steakhouse. They're everywhere here in the Orlando area. And there's a
we have them too.
We just went to Fuji Sushi a couple weeks ago, and I had the best hibachi I've ever had there. So little pricey, but man, was it so good. Yeah. So yeah, that would be between Japanese and Vietnamese, and I guess I would lean to Japanese food if I had to choose just one. So thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All right. All right. One more time. We'll go one more. This is from HD Tech. All right. I got a question for y'all. What is the proper way to eat a Twix? Let me put it into context. My wife will eat the caramel off first, then the cookie part, but I feel that ruins the experience of separating them. What's your opinion? Oh boy. I definitely have opinions on this one.
Well, this is funny because I first of all, I know he brought this question to multiple podcasts, and
yeah.
Also, the way he words it, and I get it why people do this, but he was obviously looking for validation to be against his wife's side. So when people do that, I almost want to be funny back and say, well, because that's not the answer you want, I'm going to go side with your wife, HD Tech. But to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't eat it that way. I don't really think it's that big of a travesty to eat it that way, and it could be unique and fun to experience. Yeah. But for me personally, it's not a huge preference, but I just eat it what would probably be considered the most common way of just biting down on the stick and working your way down.
Yeah, that's the only way to eat a Twix. That sounds disgusting. Eating raw cookie with the little layer of chocolate on it. Ugh. The caramel is the candy bar. I mean, come on. That's what makes it so good. And a question, Kingsley, do you eat the left Twix first or the right Twix first?
I have never noticed or
really
cared.
I'm right-handed, so I guess that means I eat the right one first. But
I think, okay. Probably right.
Okay.
Probably, but that is just a guess. And I'm usually good at remembering things, and I don't know that I ever... Now, here's the thing, too. Twix are fine, but I liked them more as a kid, and I haven't really cared about a Twix anytime probably within the last 10 or 20 years. It's not one I will pick up out of all the choices. It's good, but not my favorite.
I have a system. I'm a candy connoisseur. It's probably to my detriment in my life, but it's my one thing. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I eat candy, and candy is my thing. So,
and I'm kind of a snob with sugar. If it's going to be candy, especially chocolate types,
right?
I don't want to be wasting my taste buds and calories on cheaper chocolates per se. And I really like good quality dark chocolates and things like that I'll probably be eating way over like a Snickers or a Twix or things like that.
Yeah, over the years, I've definitely gotten a taste for different varieties of chocolate. And I think it was Easy Gaming sent me a chocolate bar from Reykjavik.
Iceland or
no, not Iceland. The other one, Reykjavik. South of south of Iceland, south and east of Iceland, or west of Iceland, not Norway.
Norway. Okay.
Norway. And man, I'll tell you what, that was fantastic chocolate. And I've had some chocolate tarts in the UK that just blow away anything in the United States I've ever tasted. So, yeah, hoping to go back to the UK this summer. I'm talking with some friends of mine from the show over there, and we're thinking about having going on vacation to the UK next summer sometime. So,
excellent.
Well, thank you everybody for sending your questions in. Thank you, Kingsley, for spending some time. I know we just did the game show and stuff. Thanks for sticking around and talking with me on this stuff. Any final words about anything you want to mention?
I think just not so much this week, other than just excited as always as things come out. I was thinking about this as we were talking about stuff on the previous show and just our thoughts in general. And I think it's obvious everyone kind of knows, like, you know, Todd's the Destiny shill. I'm somewhere more in the middle, and Chet's more the hater, tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But I still. If I had to rate myself, like, let's say middle of the road is 50%, I'm still at least a 60% Destiny lover right now. I find myself being bored with things because there's not as much content, and I still think I would love a new game. I get why people don't want a new game with everything having to start over, but I would love a new game.
Yeah.
But all this being said, even though I'm playing it less than normal, when new stuff comes out, I am always the first person there. I try to keep Tuesdays off with my work and hop in it right away and have fun.
Outstanding. Yeah, I was just messaging our buddy ElmmerFuddGames. We just had such a great time tonight. What a great, that game show was so much fun tonight. So Thanks again to ElmmerFuddGames and Just Some Gamers, JSG Podcast. I'll leave the links down in our show notes down below. And, of course, ElmmerFuddGames Twitch channel. Follow this man. He is such an entertaining person to watch. So just wanted to thank him again. Hey everyone, as I take my mandatory bathroom break, I'd like to thank our Patreon community for giving back and continue to help out a listener-supported podcast like this one. If you've received any value for today's episode and want to give back, check out GuardianDownCast.com and select the Patreon button to learn more about it. Now let's return to the conversation. And yes, I did wash my hands. Later, Guardian. Well, for those of you who've stuck around to the end of the show, I know it's a shorter one this week. Not as much to talk about, but we decided to go ahead and put some select clips from the game show that we played with the guys at Just Some Gamers. That would be Russell and Mr. ElmmerFuddGames. Thank you, gentlemen, for hosting a great game show. Had a great time. So the following clips are some of the highlights of the show from Thursday night. So here we go.
How are things going between the three of you on your show? Like, does it feel good? You can be honest here. This is a safe place.
We came in through
tell us all the
doors.
drama.
We showed up tonight,
I hate it.
Okay. You want to expand on that?
I had to show up. I have to mute every show notes he sends us, mute the chat so I don't get notified over and over and over again,
Let it out.
That's what I do to FUD, too.
For me, like, Gator's been begging me for, like, months and months and months. This whole time, he's like, Kingsley, will you please be a host? I finally acquiesced.
Yeah.
Months?
He left me a voicemail crying, asking for me to join.
I don't remember it going that way.
I mean,
that's so embarrassing.
I mean, I felt so. I was like, I got to. I feel so bad. If I say no, you know what I'm saying?
You are such kind-hearted people to do that for him.
I mean, I was like, sure, I'll come back and take over the show I started.
I don't remember it going that way, but okay.
So, but.
What do you? How do you remember it going, Todd? I'll give you the floor to you to defend yourself.
Okay. I'll be up front here. When Hazel left the show last year, I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to do it myself, and I'm just going to have guest host on.
Yeah.
And that way I can invite anybody I want. But after a while, you kind of get lonely doing a show by yourself, and you're like, it'd be nice to have someone else to talk to, and throw out ideas and stuff and tell me it's not going to happen.
That's how FUD feels every week.
Yeah,
so, what you're saying is all the guest hosts were awful? Is that what you're
saying?
No,
I look back and these guys were probably guest hosts the most, these two next to you, Mr. Fudd. It just made sense. I mean, we always had good chemistry in the Discord. Kingsley and I kind of see eye to eye. We're kind of the Destiny players that are still around playing Destiny 2, and RNG is kind of our wild card. He plays all kinds of games.
That's true.
He gives us kind of an outside perspective on things other than Destiny, kind of more of a realistic look. So that it worked real well. It just seemed to fit. So they've signed a 1-year contract.
Everything that matters.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I play the games that matter. They talk about something
that
doesn't get played that much.
I'm playing
anymore.
other games now too. You'd be surprised. I'm playing other games. I know.
Prove it.
I've been playing Balatro. I just got my red deck complete. I just did a run on that. I know Admiral Nips is like millions and millions in score, but man, that game is just addictive. It is so much fun. I love Balatro. My son turned me onto it. And when we didn't have power when Hurricane Milton came here, that's actually how I found out, because it was on Apple mobile games, which I'm subscribed to. And I was like, you know what? I never use this platform. Let's put this Balatro game on here and see what happens. And I didn't put it down. So then I got it on Steam.
I heard Brendan Sanderson talking about it, and it was one of the games that he was like, it's actually a legitimately really good mobile game.
It is. Other than I have to wear my readers to see whether they're spades or clubs, but other than that, I mean, I play poker.
Is this your card?
I love poker, so it makes perfect sense. So, Yeah, and then the other game, of course, is Black Ops 6 Zombies. They went back to the classic round-based mode. And
I've heard of some really good things, man.
I'm loving it. All the mechanics, all the extra stuff they're doing. There's a lot of new stuff in there that I'm not used to seeing. I'm getting used to that, but you get Gobblegums free every round. I mean, you can't beat it. So
no, I enjoyed what was the previous one was the open world was really fun for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like it had an open world sandbox like that with zombies has a finite amount of fun you can have even with friends. Right. But that round based is just like, I mean, everything feels fresh and new every time. It forces you to panic and never be safe. And I dig it.
Oh, I like playing solo. I like seeing how far I can go solo, and it's a lot of fun. It goes back to my roots and how I used to play zombies all the time. So yeah.
I used to, in college, I had a roommate, and that was, I worked from home, and I'd be, like, I traveled for work, so I'd be gone, but then I'd be home for, like, weeks. Mm-hmm. And whenever he would come home from work, we would be like, zombies? Zombies. And we would sit, and we would play zombies until, like, 3-4 in the morning, and then go to sleep. He'd go to work, and then we'd wake up and do it all again.
You have to have like a nemesis in your clan or your group. I was in a group called Old Guy Gamers or something like that, and I think they even still have a Facebook group. But every day I'd come home from work or whatever, and I'd look at my nemesis, which was Daddy Can't Shoot was his name. And me and him would go, okay, you did 100 levels, huh? Okay, today I did 101. So that was my goal, was to up him every week, and that was so much fun doing it that way. So that's where I got my love of playing zombies. Yeah.
Where do you think he's at these days? Do you keep in touch?
He's in Tennessee. He has 2 boys. They're probably my kids' age now, in their mid-20s. But no, I haven't talked to him in a while. I know he's out there. I see him every now and then.
Reach out.
I should.
Yeah,
he's a Tennessee.
We'll have him on the show.
He's a Tennessee Vols fan, so I have to keep my distance.
I mean, it's not as bad as like an Alabama and Auburn, but pretty close.
Well, see, that's what added to the rivalries, because we hated each other's football teams, so it was always fun. But that's why Destiny needs to bring leaderboards into their game, because how quick did you run through this lost sector? Oh yeah, I'm going to take a second off and I'll do it even faster next time around. So that kind of stuff drives engagement. It drives replayability. But anyway, that's why I love zombies.
What's this Destiny you speak of?
Well, there's Destiny. It came out in 2014.
Yeah. It's that band that Beyonce was in for a while.
And
Destiny's Child.
They had a child,
Yeah.
We used to call Destiny 1, but FUD doesn't like it.
They had another band they called Destiny's Child 2. They had some great albums. 3. Destiny Child's 2. I believe their first album was called like Red War. It's a great album. For some reason later on, they completely cut out that whole album, and no one can listen to it anymore. It's sad, especially when there's like new listeners to the band, and they can never experience that great first album. So it's sad.
Yeah. Heaven forbid they would do like WoW and just offer it all to you. You know.
Yeah,
this is true.
Huh. Anyway, that's enough about Beyonce, by the way. Sorry we haven't done that this episode. Thank you, Beyonce. Okay. Should we do a fucking game show, guys?
Sure.
I guess.
All right. Let's hope this works. Strap your butts in, folks. Yeah. Welcome into a new and maybe improved or worse version of Game Over. The game that ends when it's over. Here's how things are going to work. There are no teams. You all are solo, by yourself. Mano, imano, giving each other mono. Okay. It's bonus points in this game. So how this is going to work. There is a wheel that I will spin that actually spins on the stream, those of you in audio listener format. It will make audio cues so those of you listening can understand that there is in fact a wheel spinning and not an awkward 5 seconds of silence. Very important there. So each of you in turn, right? I'll go down the line, spin the wheel, a topic will appear, and a question following that topic. For everything you get correct is 100 points. First one to 1,000 points wins.
This is okay. I mean, the game show has really gone up. Like we've spent a lot of production money on this one. I can tell.
Yes, we have. You're correct. Yeah. Continue.
I mean, you know, as a show,
I
definitely contributed to this in some way.
Very much, a lot of contribution.
Yeah,
Russell, dig yourself out of that hole.
I want to be in his hole. You know what I mean? Anyway,
I contributed to this about as much as I contribute to any of our shows.
And you're here, buddy, and that's all I ever want. I do all this so you're happy,
and almost on time too.
That is, yeah. No, actually, you were really good. I was still eating when you got here. You were faster than I thought. I'm proud of you. All right, to throw a little wrench in the mix, right? Each of you gets one steal. Okay? If the wheel lands on something and it's not your turn, but you are confident that you could answer this question, okay? You can use your one steal of the night, and if you get the question correct, that is 200 points.
Okay, so one steal.
Each you gets game. One steal per game, per the whole game, the rest of the night.
So how many? How many
carefully.
Again?
One steal, a singular one. Okay. Less than 2, more than 0.
So 3 steals.
3 less than 4. Okay. 5 more than -6.
But are we going on 3? Or
divided by purple, and
where do we go? Where do you go? 1, 2, 3, and then go? 0. Okay.
No, we're gonna go on 2. The first wheel. All right.
Big money. No whammies.
We have. Oh God, it froze on me. Hold on. Good. All right. Microsoft or Sony?
Ooh.
All right. I am going to name a game company, and you have to tell me if it's in the plethora of a list owned by Microsoft or Sony.
I want to use my steal. I want to use my steal here.
Oh, a steal out of the gate coming in from
Let's go.
Todd the Gator.
He can just steal without even hearing the question first and giving me
absolutely
the answer.
I feel confident.
That's the whole point.
He can name that tune in one
confidence.
note.
Confidence.
I can name that tune in 2 notes.
That actually would be really fun to play.
That would be.
It's just my daughter on a recorder, so no one will ever guess.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Clues.
All right,
here we go.
Todd the Gator, for a possible 200 points. We have Ninja Theory. Is Ninja Theory owned by Microsoft or Sony?
How you feeling about that confidence there, buddy?
Yeah, I didn't see this one coming.
You fucked up.
No.
Ninja Theory.
I thought about explaining some of the games that each of these individuals made, and I was like, it's more fun to watch.
No, I think Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say Microsoft.
He is locking in Microsoft with the steal, and that is correct for 200 points out of the gate.
It was not lucky. I knew it. I was just trying to
Todd the Gator, 200 points on the board with a strong, sensuous lead.
Look at that.
And round it goes. Where it'll stop, nobody knows.
I think I tested the wheel too much. You landed on free points. This is great.
Yes.
What?
That is 100 points right there, buddy.
That's some.
Look at that. Wow. Runga with a strong second place.
I'm not RNG Gator for nothing.
He is absolutely factual. RNG Gator just got free points.
Wait.
No, you can't steal it. Nope, too late. He done gave me the point.
Too late.
That was never a rule.
No.
That would have worked.
Never a rule.
It's too late. Todd the Gator, actually, we're back to you.
Okay.
Spinning the wheel, a smooth, buttery spin. We have... No way. free points. You're even further ahead. This is great.
You know what? I don't.
Come on, I'll steal that. I said I'll steal it.
No, it's too late, bud.
You did?
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. No, you already said it. You already said what the category was.
No, that's all he landed for you on my screen.
I trust Kingsley. Kingsley, if you said RNG, said it. RNG in the future, I'm going to need you to, I know you podcast. I'm going to need you to speak into your microphone. Therefore, we can understand you. So the thing you just did, maybe never do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try that on for
The
size.
noise gate totally took it out anyway.
Yeah.
All right. RNG Gator has smartly used his steal, and he is now at 300 points in the lead.
I'm starting to sense an odd pattern here.
How did he get 300?
Because he stole, so you got 200 points.
Yeah.
Kingsleymac, my friend.
Let's see what happens.
If this lands on free points, I'm getting rid of free points. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Game's rigged.
Honestly, Russ, it would be hilarious if I set it up to only land on free points for everyone else.
That
would be
really
funny as crap.
That is legitimately what I thought was happening.
That'd be so good. For 100 points, Kingsleymac.
Ooh.
Tell an embarrassing story.
Steal.
I have to tell a story? Yeah. I get it?
Russell stole it. Russell stole it from you, Kingsley. You don't have to do it.
Stole it.
Fair.
Oh, if you started telling a story, that'd been locked in.
Okay.
All right, Russ. ToddtheGatr, spinning the wheel, buddy. Again, Kingsley, you're the only one left with the steal as you're spinning this wheel.
I know.
Kingsley, hold
None
me.
of them been worth stealing yet.
He's ready. And we are, on tell an embarrassing story for 100. Ooh, Kingsley coming in with the steal.
Thank you.
The last steal of the night, Kingsleymac, tell us an embarrassing story for 200 points.
So one time, I met this guy named Todd, and we went out to dinner.
Oh, no.
It was embarrassing.
No. I get points for that one.
Does that count?
I get points for that.
It needs to be, we need to feel embarrassed listening to it.
Okay. Oh, shit. Well,
yeah, you stole. You better come up with something.
I can come with another story. Okay.
That's the point. Let's hear it.
So it won't be quite as long as Russell's for sake of time, but
literally
I'll add a little bit of context. So I used to work at Disneyland as a ride operator.
Ooh.
And I just had gotten trained on Thunder Mountain Railroad. It was my third ride, and you know me, I'm a pretty responsible guy. It's not like it was my first ride. I'm not going to be like some schmo not knowing what to do. But I get trained on the ride, and then a few days later, I'm actually working, and they're bringing on a new train onto the ride, which is like they bring through a side track. Someone needs to go up to the control panel, switch the track, let the train on. But I was the one to do that. It's like, okay, I'm ready. I know what to do. You switch a panel, and you do it at the right time, right? So the train comes up. Like, okay, bring the train track on, the train on the train track. And so I do what I was taught during training. I do switch and then switch again. The train got derailed.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Now, we're not talking about falling off the track and some big problem, but it skipped a little bit. Like, it was just starting to come on where the split was, and then I switched it again. And I'll tell you what that was actually used for in a second. But so I switch it, the train starts going, and then I switch again because I was used to that during training, and then it just skipped off the track a little bit. They had to shut down the ride. Maintenance had to come out, fix the train.
You're the reason.
Yes, I was the reason.
You're the reason my dad left and never came back.
Oh, buddy.
Oof.
That was a good story.
Ooh, does it keep you up at night?
No.
It does.
Oh.
No, yeah, it was embarrassing. Please, that must count.
Points there. RNG Gator. Buddy, I hope you're locked in because you're in a solid read. You're reading the lead right now, man. All right. This is going to be a tough one, buddy, for points here. The question is, should DLC win Game of the Year?
Come on. Oh, come on.
No.
No, he has answered that correctly. For 100 points, RNG Gator holds a steady lead at 600 points.
That is.
How are you feeling right now, buddy?
Oh, crap.
Someone figure out his IP and let's DDoS him real quick.
Yeah.
FBI, open up.
me.
DDoS, SWAT, your friends. Okay.
Google.
ToddtheGatr, buddy, with half of the other Gators points. How are you feeling right now?
Googling, how do you DDoS somebody? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ready, sir. I'm not very happy where I'm standing now. I thought I had a strong start, but I'm going to have to get to work
it's a good thing you're sitting.
Yeah, I was going to say, good thing you're sitting. Yeah.
That is true. You got me.
All right, my friend, it is... Wow, you guys are getting these back-to-back. Look at this. Mr. ToddtheGatr, it's classic rock bands again.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Oh, man. Again, I will read 3 songs from this band. You must tell me who the band is. Okay?
Okay.
She's a Rainbow, Miss You, and Honky Tonk Women.
Oh, no. That would be the Rolling Stones.
Oh, man, you came back so confident immediately after an oh no. That was impressive.
The last one, I got it. We're good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The old man.
Very well done. It was, in fact, the Rolling Stones. That's an extra 100 points, getting you up in the race, tied for second place with Mr. Russell.
Boy, how did RNG Gator jump ahead so much?
He's getting.
Are you not paying attention?
He got free points. I mean,
he's doing really good.
Yeah, and he stole.
Yep.
And then he's answered all his questions correctly, I guess.
He's killing it right now. No. All right, Kingsley, buddy, in last place, buddy. You want to talk about what's going on over there?
Well, I'm excited to
wait.
finally do my third question.
I know, buddy. I'm so excited for you to finally be part of the game. Here we go.
You should only be 100 points up from me.
No, you missed the question, Russell.
You got a question wrong, buddy.
I missed the question. Oh, and you stole.
Russell's doing the math.
Right.
Yep. Here we go.
You stole from me in the beginning. That's the.
This is my favorite part of these game shows. I love it because he gets so competitive. Russell, please never.
Oh, actually, Russell, I stole your question. Remember, that's why. At the very first. That's why
awesome.
You're 200 down.
Yeah.
Kingsleymac.
Yes.
Say something nice about one of the competitors.
Okay, let's go.
The hardest one on there.
The hardest question. This is going to be hard.
I know, because you fucking hate everybody. I know.
I'm going. Oh, Todd's raising his hand. The question is: say something nice or say something mean?
Say something nice. Secret double points if you shred him to. No, I was kidding.
Oh no.
You win the game.
Todd, you're looking so good with your yellow baseball cap, just chilling in your comfortable chair. 100 points past me. You must be pretty smart. I bow down to you, sir.
I'll accept that. And it's an orange cap.
I'm a little concerned.
I was too.
I
think he said that to upset me.
Okay, do I get the extra points?
That was a backhanded compliment. I don't know if that counts.
All right, buddy, you're creeping up. You're only less than a handful of points away from winning this. Any words of discouragement you want to throw out to your competitors?
Figure out that DDoS yet, Todd?
I gave up.
Not over until
I couldn't spell it right.
Yeah, Todd types in, it just says Alt F4.
It said Dido is a band from
How did you spell it?
I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know. I forgot.
Please tell me.
Dido has a number one hit called "Thank You."
How did we get from DDoS to Dido?
I don't know. I just thought of
it. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Kings, you have a chance to not be in last place for the first time tonight, buddy. You ready for this?
I'm going to do it.
All right. Todd and Runga, you do have steals. And the topic is... It's frozen.
Steal.
Tell an embarrassing story.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll steal.
All right.
I'll steal it.
Todd is stealing.
I need the points. You already said an embarrassing story. I one came to mind. It actually was fairly recently. I was going out to dinner with my parents and my daughter and my wife. Had a really nice lunch out, and we went back to my parents because they wanted to show us something my dad was building. My dad's into carpentry. So we're walking up to the front door, and I'm kind of in a ornery mood. And I'm looking down at the sidewalk, and I always pinch my wife's butt. So I pinched my wife's butt.
As you do.
And then I looked down, and I said, when did she change her toenail color?
No.
I pinched my daughter's ass. And she turns around and goes, what the hell did you just do? I said, nothing. Just kidding. Yeah, I pinched my 25-year-old daughter's ass.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Shit.
Good job, Todd.
I wanted to say not embarrassing steal back, but I don't know.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 200 points
Yes.
right there.
Tied for the lead.
Buddy, you've jumped forward. Look at that. Damn.
Sorry, Kingsley. I had to make my move after that terrible answer I had.
Howdy folks, this is MC Squared and you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed some excerpts from the game show that we played. All three of the hosts, RNG, Gator, myself, and Kingsleymac, and of course, Russell, the co-host, and Mr. ElmmerFuddGames. If you didn't catch the live show, his Twitch channel is where you need to go. He puts on a great show for everybody. Just want to reiterate that. And I hope you enjoyed the clips. Put some select clips in there that were quite funny. Might have been an embarrassing one in there as well. So hopefully you didn't skip over it. Anyway, every week I like to give a shout out to a member of the week. This is someone that I've noticed more active in our Discord community and has gotten involved in our show and just generally been a good dude. As a reward, or dudette, as a reward, and shout out on the show, they receive a special community member of the week role in our Discord with a nice little icon next to their name representing Guardian Downcast. Our member shout out of the week. He's been a member for over 5 months now. He's been very active in the Discord. I've actually played some Crucible with him as well. He's been very helpful in the community. So congrats to Mr. Steel Zealot. Thanks for hanging out with us, sir. And congrats on being the member of the week. I'll be sure to award your new role on Monday. I just want to announce that I have just created a listener survey on our website, guardiandowncast.com. And if you participate in it, I'm awarding a $100 Amazon digital gift card via a random drawing to one lucky winner on episode 282, which is one of our live shows. It'll be right before Christmas week. So go to our website. And the actual direct link, if you want to go right to the survey, is guardiandowncast.com/survey. And give us some feedback on our podcast. It'd only take a few minutes to answer some questions on what you think of the podcast and how we can improve our show. As I've made a lot of changes to the format over this year, I want to make sure we're heading in the right direction. So let your voice be heard. Again, it's guardiandowncast.com/survey. And I'll put the link in the show notes down below if you just want to go right to it. You'll need to give us your email, by the way, so we can award you with your gift card. Thanks again to our Patreon community for supplying the funds to give that away. Speaking of patrons, I wanted to thank all our patrons of the show, members like Zombie Pops. Thank you, sir. Also, our Dungeon Champion patrons. That would be Technical, Raffy, Deadpool1 Merc, and Darth Noodle. A thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King for giving back to the show. I love saying that every week. So cool. Just a reminder that we'll have another new show next week live on my YouTube channel. The link to it will also be in the show notes below if you want to jump in and say hi to us. We really had a great showing this past couple of weeks, and I get excited every week. I see our community show up and interact with us. Next week, Kingsleymac and I will be back to talk more Destiny. And being it's after Thanksgiving, we'll be hanging out and probably just be a chill show like it was this week. We'll also answer any questions you send us for the show. And again, that's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast and go to podcast questions and you can enter either Destiny-related questions or anything you want to ask us. I might have another topic of the week as well, so hang out with us, and you can interact with us live. That's every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern if you want to join in, and it is in real time. It's youtube.com/@ToddtheGatr. That's 2 Ds and GATR. The replay will also be available if you aren't able to make the live show, but we hope you see you live. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection. For our listeners out there, we have 278 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. So take a look at those if you're just finding out about our podcast. And if you like what you hear, the only way we promote our show is by you telling someone else about our show. So thank you in advance. Special thanks to my co-host RNG Gator and Kingsleymac. You can find them in our Discord. I'll also have their links in the show notes down below if you'd like to follow them. You can contact me at ToddtheGatr across all the social and gaming platforms. You can also reach me via email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. And you can submit questions there as well. That'll find its way to the show. Before we go, Uncle Scumdeath has a few words about a certain event that happened this past week. So Uncle Scumdeath, what's going on in the UK today, brother?
Hello, welcome to Scumdeath's Corner. Obviously, I wasted my life last night waiting up till 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, to watch the Mike Tyson fight against some fucking YouTuber. Oh, fuck me. I could have fucking done about 3 raids in that time. I wasted my complete life watching that loads of drivel. Mike Tyson, hard man, years ago. YouTuber, fair enough. Carry on playing fucking Fortnite or whatever you do. I don't know what that Jake Paul is. I've no idea. He does YouTube or something, I think. But yeah, fair dues. What a waste of fucking time. So, I hate boxing anyway. Boxing's bollocks. UFC is where it's at.
You got it.
So, boxing is rubbish. You just want to, I'd rather see Tyson kick him in the fucking head instead of like throwing a few lame punches. So yeah, boxing is shit. It's always has been. There's no decent boxers anymore. And if Tyson Fury wants to have a fight, then it'll be like, we'll do it in the next 18 months. And it'll be an 18-month build-up. Fuck off. UFC is every week. So fuck off boxing. Up the UFC. Get fucked. Love ya. Boo.
Hey, could have been worse, Uncle Scumdeath. It could have been pay-per-view. Think about how mad people would have been on that. Yeah, he kept biting his glove and he wouldn't throw a punch. I don't know why. I have my thoughts. I've heard some rumblings that if Mike Tyson knocked Paul out, that he would get no money. So who knows? I think it was just a big publicity stunt, to be honest. But hey, that's my opinion. You know? I miss Iron Mike Tyson with that deadly uppercut. I just didn't see it the night I watched it as well. So thank you, Uncle Scumdeath. Hope you're doing well, brother. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass, Ace Mordor. Yeah, I see you in clan chat. I'm always watching. Hey, everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian.
Yeah, that is staying in the spank bank.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me see what's going on.
That was so cool.
Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you so much for
you guys are so great.
That was
fun.
That was a lot
You
of
guys
fun.
made it.
Love you guys.
You guys you're recording your episode, another episode for you guys right after this, right?
Yeah, we're
right.
Yeah, we got some Act 2 to talk about tonight. Yep.
Act 2 of what?
They've got Act 2 to talk about.
Russell.
I'm not going.
It's all right, Russell. Don't worry about it.
I played Act 2, but I don't want to talk about it.
Act 2 of the musical?
I gave Kingsley my notes to use in the show.
Yeah. If I had to rate myself, like let's say middle of the road is 50%, I'm still at least a 60% Destiny lover right now.